Greetings, travelers! I hope most of you enjoyed the Lantern Rite, or maybe I should call it the Fireworks Rite because of all the emphasis on firecrackers and fireworks this year. Speaking of which, they packed a lot of Liyue's history with firecrackers into this year's story, and I wanted to see how accurate it was to its history in China, which, as most of you know, is the inspiration for Liyue. As in Genshin, fireworks did originate from firecrackers in our world too. The firecrackers they talked about in the story, or 爆竹, were discovered in China as early as 200 BC, when someone chucked a piece of bamboo into a fire, and because of its sealed, hollow inside, it exploded with a great kaboom, kinda like a bigger version of a popcorn. In fact, the term 爆竹 literally means exploding bamboo. Over the years, and with the invention of gunpowder, the firecrackers of modern days don't use bamboo anymore. But because of tradition and how it sounded similar to its predecessors, the name remained the same, or at least one of its many names now. In the Lantern Rite story, there were mainly two characters who talked about the history of firecrackers, Xingqiu and Ningguang. One talked about a history of old, or legend, while the other talked about its usage in history. Let's look at the legend first. In Xingqiu's story, he says the following.
Liyue Harbor was under the gracious protection of Rex Lapis, so the spirits dared not enter the city. However, they still lingered near the city gates and pestered the passers-by. In order to drive the spirits away, people made firecrackers and lit them near the city gates. The flashes of light and loud noise successfully drove the spirits whence they came.
In China, a similar story is told, but instead of spirits, it's a giant beast named Nian, meaning year. The beast would ravage the fields and terrorize the townsfolk every year on the eve of the Lunar New Year, until one year when this adeptus from the mountains came to the village in the form of an old beggar, and taught the townsfolk how to use firecrackers and the color red to scare off the beast. From then on, the village was saved from the beast's terror, and it became a tradition to light up firecrackers every year. I wonder if Rex Lapis could be a parallel to the beggar in the story. I mean, he used to be an adeptus, and do live among humans now in the form of a human, like the beggar. It would be quite the irony. Anyways, firecrackers are still used nowadays in many parts of China, but not only for a Lunar New Year celebration. It's basically used in every single big events, including weddings and funerals. It's more of just a symbol of celebration now, but it's a bit different in the past. According to Ningguang, in Liyue, firecrackers used to be used to ward off beasts and as warning signals.
Their bright flashes and loud sounds were often used for warding off beasts or as warning signals to other people. In those days, it was difficult for people to contact one another while out farming the land, so they would carry firecrackers with them to give signals when necessary.
In China, firecrackers were indeed used to ward off beasts and evil spirits, but I couldn't find anything in terms of it being used as a warning signal. They may be talking about a signal flare, but regular farmers definitely won't have access to those. Also, if they're talking about ancient firecrackers, which was just a piece of bamboo, it will need to be thrown into a fire to work. But if there was a fire available, the fire itself would be more useful for signaling. However, it's not impossible for firecrackers to be used for signaling. I mean, some kids even used to use firecrackers to blast fish. Klee would be proud. So it seems like Liyue's history with firecrackers is mostly the same as China's. I wonder what other historical details they packed into the game. If I missed any details or interesting facts about firecrackers, or if anyone knows anything about firecrackers being used as warning signals in the past, please leave a comment. Also, if anyone has any other suggestions for things to look into, please also comment below. Thanks for watching, travelers!